It's time for Recipe of the Day. I'm starting this Monday off with a meal planning tip as well as a great recipe. The recipe is for Italian roasted cauliflower. Super easy, ready in under 30 minutes, and it uses all ingredients that you probably have at home already. And I'll tell you how to make that in just a minute. First, the meal planning strategy that I call the side dish solution. What that means is, well, usually a lot of us figure out what to have for dinner by thinking about the protein first. We'll have chicken, for instance. Well, that doesn't really get us anywhere. Chicken, and then what? So instead, what you do is you think of a really tasty side dish that you like. For instance, Italian roasted cauliflower. And then you think of the other things to go with that. So it might be chicken, maybe with a little bit of Parmesan cheese or mozzarella on it to go with that Italian roasted cauliflower, right? And then maybe, some baby roasted potatoes or air fryer potatoes. I have a great air fryer potato recipe to link to in the show notes for you with a little bit of like oregano on them. So you see, you use that side dish idea as the interesting part of the dinner. The other things can be quite simple, chicken, potatoes. Maybe you add something related to that side dish to them. But even if you don't, you have Italian roasted cauliflower with chicken and baby potatoes. That sounds way better than just chicken and what else are we going to have? So that is the side dish solution. Use the Italian roasted cauliflower as your jumping off point, or any tasty side dish as your jumping off point, and then fill in the other things in a simple way, related or just very basic. Dinner is ready to start cooking. So cooking the Italian roasted cauliflower. You're going to start by preheating your oven. Now, if you like your cauliflower browned on the outside, like a little caramelized and roasted, but pretty tender, crisp inside, you're going to preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'll just tell you right off the bat, once the cauliflower goes in, it'll cook for 20 to 25 minutes. If you like your cauliflower a little more tender, a little softer, then you're going to preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, and you'll be cooking that cauliflower for 30 to 35 minutes. The lower temperature will stop it from browning too much on the outside in the time that it takes for it to soften on the inside. So preheat that oven, then get out a big bowl, and to that you are adding 5 teaspoons of tomato paste. That's just under 2 tablespoons. If you're opening a can, well, go for it, scoop it out of the can. I like to use the tube of tomato paste that's sold at my grocery store on the top shelf above the cans of tomato paste. That stays in the fridge, so you just use the amount that you need. Either of them is fine here. Then to that, you're adding 3 tablespoons of olive oil, a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, or any kind of mustard that you have, as long as it's not grainy. We don't want little balls of mustard in this. We want a smooth mustard. So that was 1 teaspoon of the mustard. And then you're going to whisk those 3 things together. And I'll just tell you, the oil does not want to incorporate into there. And that is okay. You actually end up with little like specks or clumps of the tomato paste, which I find kind of caramelize more on the cauliflower. So mix it up as well as you can, but don't worry if it's not really like emulsifying. That's totally fine. Okay, to that, you are adding 1/4 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese or grated Parmesan cheese, but you want the real cheese, not the powdered stuff that's sold shelf stable. Not that. You want the real Parmesan cheese. And then also a teaspoon of dried oregano leaves, or you can use Italian seasoning, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of coarse black pepper. Mix that up and then get a medium head of cauliflower. You are breaking that into florets. Now, if you have bought the bags of florets, they are usually 12-ounce bags, and a medium head of cauliflower will usually get you about 18 ounces of florets. So you're going to want 1.5 of those bags. And then you're adding those florets to that big bowl of the tomato paste mixture and mixing it all around. You can use a spatula or your hands. It's going to stain the cauliflower kind of a reddish orange color all over. Then you're transferring that to a large baking sheet, kind of spreading them out so they're kind of in one single layer, not really touching too much. And then you're roasting them for your desired time to your desired like crispness or tenderness level. Like I said, said, for me, it's at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 25 minutes until it's still tender, crisp in the middle, but browned on the outside. If you like it softer, do it at a lower temperature, 375 degrees Fahrenheit, until it is fork tender. It's going to be 30 to 35 minutes. Now, after you're done, you're going to stir it gently with a metal spatula, and then you can sprinkle it with a little bit more Parmesan cheese and serve. Now you see what I mean, right? This is going to make your dinner so special. Start with this as your starting point, the side dish solution, and then everything else can be pretty boring or plain or basic. And the dinner is going to be fantastic because this cauliflower is so fantastic. Okay, I will put the link to this recipe in the show notes for this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there. Everything there is arranged by date, so it's helpful to know that today is August 11th of 2025. In the show notes, I'm also going to link to my collection of side dish recipes. There are over 100 of them there that you can use as the jumping off point for your side dish solution meal planning. The other thing you can always do is bookmark cookthestory.com or go to Google and search for Cook the Story as one word and then side dish, and you will get all kinds of great side dish ideas there. I am Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, the all new chicken cookbook, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great day. Let's get cooking.